Hi, Dana Garrison here, your tech kitty. We've got a great panel for you today covering blockchain and education. So let's dive in and let's have our guests introduce themselves. So Anthony, can we start with you?
Okay, yes, my name is Anthony Lojack. I am a lawyer, writer, and investor with a PhD in East-West comparative philosophy from the University of Oriental Studies in Los Angeles. That's the connection why I went to Tokyo, and I am the first American who could pass their examination and be licensed as a stockbroker in Japan. After that, I worked for Wall Street firms in Tokyo and New York for 5 or 6 years. And then I retired to invest my own time and money in the research writing and other creative projects I like to do, which I guess I'll be able to talk about a little bit later. And as an investor, it was 3 years ago. I was always interested in blockchain, of course, but Ethereum and smart contracts is what opened the door for me. And now every day my life is filled with blockchain and cryptocurrency, just like everyone else.
Absolutely love it. Thank you so much. And Jack, tell us about you.
Hello, everyone. So greeting from Jack. Actually, I'm now in Bangkok. So I'm Jack Huang. I'm Taiwanese. And currently, actually, I do have several different jobs at the same time. First, I'm the IT engineer in the United Nations, work for the IT office based in Bangkok. That's the international organization. So that's also kind of the point why I get in touch with the blockchain technology, because as the international organization, we always try to pick up this kind of very interesting and fancy technology, try to apply to different areas. And also, I try to provide some education video. So that's why I also work for the UBAI, University of Blockchain and ICO. But mostly, I provide the content in Chinese and somehow in Cantonese. So I would like to also try to provide more knowledge in English in the future. And meanwhile, I also work for the Platinum, which is the consulting firm, the blockchain consulting firm based in Singapore, Bangkok, and Southeast Asia. What we do, usually we provide the one-step service for different projects. So that's why I'm also being invited as an advisor, the token economy advisor for several interesting projects. And I think I will talk later for those interesting ones.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So gang, there's a lot of current discussion about education in the blockchain space. Blockchain devs are in high demand right now, and universities are getting into the game by offering blockchain-based education. So what are some of your thoughts on those trends in the job space and the education space and blockchain? Let's start with Anthony.
Okay, I'm a big believer in education. And what I've been doing for the past 6 months, I led a team that produced the first ever Japanese language materials for practical education in blockchain technology and ICO projects. And we had a World Blockchain Festival. I had the opportunity to speak to 15,000 people in Japanese about the importance of education in that respect. And then after I spoke, Mariah Carey performed for everyone, and we had a very good time. But education is my life. I'm a big believer in it.
And in terms, I'm going to actually pull a little more knowledge out of you around that. What do you think is the importance of focusing on blockchain education right now?
Well, there's a great demand for it. There's a great demand for developers. Also, I think investors need to know, everyone needs to know about blockchain. Literally, everyone needs to know, because it's going to make such a big effect, either directly or indirectly, in people's lives in one way or another. It's too big to ignore.
Thank you. Jack, what about you? Will you weigh in for us, please?
Yes. So does I call he professor. So does the professor say? I do agree with the education. That's a fundamental thing for developing everything. So especially in blockchain, I do think it's a very new technology, or even a new concept for everything for a lot of areas. So education actually provide not only the basic understanding, but also give you the advanced knowledge or the advanced opportunity to know how to apply that in your practical business. For my opinion, I do think at this moment, some people, they might know the technology itself. They might be developer, they might be IT consultant or engineer. And the others, they might know more about marketing. But we need someone who knows both. In that way, we can have the better token design, we can have the better token economy, and we know better to how to apply this new concept to the real business. So education actually helped a lot.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yes. And you're right. The marketing side really needs to be a part of the whole picture right from the beginning, because that's how we spread the word well. Now, you both are working on some probably interesting projects. Can you both tell us a little bit about a project that you're currently working on? And actually, Jack, you're on screen right now. Let's start with you. We'll go the other direction.
Okay, so I will be the second one. Okay, so actually, because I also is the partner and the advisor with Platinum. So Platinum, as I introduced, is a consulting firm. So he is assigned me to several interesting projects. At this moment, I want to share the biggest one on my hand, which we we are working with Foxconn. I'm not sure if you heard about Foxconn, this company name is the biggest supplier for Apple products. So mostly like almost 90% or even more than 90% of the Apple product, iPhone, iWatch, iMac, the supplier is Foxconn. And what we are going to work with this big company, we try to tokenize or we provide a blockchain resolution for its factoring business, for its for its supply chain finance. So that's make me really exciting because that might not be facing to the normal people, but it's totally try to change the whole industry and the whole supply chain finance.
Love it.
So that's kind of an interesting project.
That is an interesting project. Thank you. Anthony, will you tell us about one of yours?
Yes, in 2016, I started a not-for-profit research and educational organization concerned with the nature of self. And recently, I've reorganized that into the Decentralized Research Center, if you will. And we are specifically concerned with the experience and the communication of the nature of self above and beyond the apparent limits of rational human thinking. Exactly how that fits in with blockchain, I will see. It's just one of those things that the idea of no third-party intermediary is the reality of what we do and how we live. So it fits together, and we will see exactly how that works out in the future.
Wow. So you took the concept of what you were working with to begin with from a sort of internal space esoteric way and looked at how this is actually being applied through blockchain in our world.
Exactly right.
I love it. All right. What's currently exciting the both of you in the blockchain and crypto environment? Let's start with you, Anthony.
You know, I was always, ever since I retired from Wall Street, I was always an investor and excited to look at the stock market more than law. That's why I chose that profession. But crypto puts that to shame. My life is so much more interesting being invested in crypto and blockchain related companies. What was the question again?
What's exciting you either in the blockchain space or the crypto space?
You know, people talk about the volatility as being a disadvantage. I think it's a thrill. And right now, we're all witnessing the same depressed market this year. But that's exciting to me. This is still the time to enter this market or regret it later. And as an investor, it's that's exciting to me. Absolutely.
I think a lot of folks are also excited about a time to get in right now if they're paying attention, right?
Yes.
And know what they're doing. Jack, what about you? What's exciting you in the blockchain and crypto space?
Wow, that's really a long story, but I'll try to make it short. I will say blockchain is really amazing. I mean, for me, not just the project I introduced a few seconds ago, like the Forcecom project, but also actually, if you take a look deeply of the blockchain concept or the detail of the definition, you will find it can basically apply to all areas in the world. As I introduced myself at the very first beginning, I also work for the United Nations. So in the international organization, so many departments try to use blockchain. The UNHCR, the Human Rights Department, and also UNICEF, the Children Foundation. So you can apply it not only for the commercial purpose, but also you can try to reduce the transaction fee. You can try to give the identity for the human, for the refugee, for example. So I do think this kind of technology can change the world. By the way, if you like me, you are totally a free market believer like me. I really believe that the invisible hand can properly manage the market. So blockchain actually gives this right back to people, from the government, from the big organization, from those centralized agent, back to us, back to everyone. So why not? Let's try it. Let's look at the future. I think it's very exciting.
Absolutely. The social good that comes from it is so amazing, right? And it's kind of built in and part of the very ethos of the movement. Let's actually kind of go into the market a little bit. What do you think about the current stability of Bitcoin? Jack, let's start with you.
Okay. So one of the most people try to criticize the Bitcoin is the price is not stable. It's kind of go up and down quickly. So I want to say yes, because Bitcoin, if we just take a look of how long it's existing, it's just 10 years from now. So as a financial product or whatever you want to say as an asset or as what kind of things, it's not mutual enough. So of course the price go up and down, and people should have more confidence of this kind of new technology, or what we say the blockchain, Bitcoin. So people always ask me what's the price or what's the value behind the Bitcoin. I will try to answer in another way. I will say no, Bitcoin doesn't need the value or the price, because whenever there's a need, there must be supply. So we only talk about need and supply, the demand and supply. That's the principle of economy. So I will say I look really, optimistic in the future of the Bitcoin, not just the price, but the usage, but how it can apply to more and more areas and business.
Absolutely. Thank you. And Anthony, could you weigh in on that, please?
Yeah, well, I think Bitcoin's been extremely stable recently, considering market conditions. Compare Bitcoin to IBM recently, and Bitcoin is the stable one. It's been, around that $6,000 price, while we've had much greater fluctuations in other cryptocurrencies and in the stock market as a whole. So price-wise, I think Bitcoin has been outstanding in its stability. In the broader picture, again, it's too volatile for some people, but I think it's doing a fine job as far as stability goes.
Thank you. Now, 1 minute speed round. We're going to do a lightning round, which is simply, how would you quickly answer the question, if somebody was getting into the market now, what should they be paying attention to? If you had to get in the crypto market now, what would you choose and why? How about that? That could be a easier 1 minute lightning round.
So who will be the first?
Oh, I'm sorry.
We are waiting for you. So maybe Professor? Okay. So I will go first. So if someone wants to get involved in this blockchain market, whatever he or she want to invest in technology, or he or she just a speculator want to make a quick money, I will say the most important thing is about the project itself and also the team. People need to take a look carefully of the white paper of the business plan, and he or she should understand what is exact blockchain is and what the future trend might be. For example, as we all can see, the coin, the token, the ICO is not quite good. I mean, it's not working quite good during the past few months. So I will say in the future, and more topic is covering this kind of issue, which is STO, security token offering. So in the future, I will say regulation will be more and more important, and the security token might be more and more popular. So if an investor or people who want to be in this market and earn some money, security token might be a good start. And also the stable coin might be another good start. Security token and stable coin. That's my 2 points for the future suggestion.
Thank you. Anthony, could you please weigh in?
Yeah, Jack made great suggestions. So I'll also add to that, stress on institutional money. The big money and the regulators are making the environment we need for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies to succeed. And that's the best information, and that's why I invest. So things like custody, institutional money, Fidelity, Goldman Sachs, you can't ask for more positive information. And as long as that information is positive, the fluctuation and the volatility is irrelevant.
Thank you. Thank you both so much for joining in with us today. And gang, you heard it here first at Newconomy. We are featuring and bringing you the up-to-date news in the blockchain and crypto space, as well as amazing movers and shakers, fantastic experts to bring you all kinds of insights in the space. Stay tuned for more videos, and we will see you in the next one.